Gertrude, I'm home, baby.
Come on in so I can love on you. Come on in so mama can talk to you. I need to see you. I need to talk to you.
A Dale County pastor is dead from a shooting just days before Christmas.
The sheriff's office confirms 31-year-old Dequarius Green died Saturday in the hospital. Investigators say Green was shot during a domestic dispute.
December 23, 2025, a 911 call came through in Level Plains, Alabama. A gunshot had been fired, a man was bleeding out on a living room floor, and by the time the ambulance arrived, the man fighting for his life wasn't just anyone. He was a pastor. His name was Dequarius Green, 31 years old, beloved by his congregation at Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church, known in his Christian fraternity as Transistor. A name that meant he was supposed to conduct spiritual power, amplify the message of God. He was untouchable, or at least that's what everyone thought. 4 days later, on December 27th, Pastor Green was pronounced dead. And here's the thing that should make you stop scrolling right now. Nobody has been arrested. The woman who fired that gun, she's walking free. No charges, no handcuffs, nothing. But before you assume this is just another tragic accident, you need to know something about the man lying in that casket. Dequarius Green had been arrested 3 times for domestic violence, 3 separate incidents, and every single case dismissed. The charges didn't stick because the victims wouldn't testify, they wouldn't show up to court, and so the cycle continued. The same man who told his congregation to forgive their enemies, to turn the other cheek. That man allegedly put his hands on women he claimed to love. One of those women filed a protection order in 2025. She said he was violently jealous, that he hit her while she was pregnant, and still the case was dismissed. So now we're left with a question that doesn't have an easy answer. Was Pastor Dequarius Green a man of God who tragically lost his life? Was he something far more complicated? Something darker hiding behind a collar and a cross? And if he was the aggressor all along, why is the woman who shot him still free? What does that say about what really happened on December 23rd? Stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to give you 2 life-changing tips on how to detect and escape domestic violence and relationship abuse. What happened to this pastor didn't have to end this way. It could have been stopped years ago. And what you learn here today might just save someone you love. Be honest, if someone you love was being hurt by a pastor, by a man everyone else worships and respects, would you believe them or would you side with the church? Drop your answer in the comments right now. Welcome to True Crime Footprint, where we unveil the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime tales. Kindly hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our new stories. Your support keeps these stories alive.
Isaiah 26:3 said, He'll keep you, those in perfect peace, those that keep their mind stayed on Him. Just get Jesus on your mind. Take your bills off of your mind.
To understand what happened on that December afternoon, you have to go back to who Dequarius Green was before the gunshot. Born May 25, 1994. He grew up in the church, the kind of kid who never missed Sunday school, who felt called to ministry from a young age. And by the time he became the pastor of Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Dale County, Alabama, people saw him as a rising leader. His fraternity brothers in Beta Alpha Gamma gave him the name Transistor because they believed he could amplify God's voice, conduct spiritual energy straight into the hearts of people who needed it. He had a reputation, humble, honest, the kind of man who would sit with you for hours talking about fatherhood and faith. Other ministers in Montgomery respected him. He was building something, or at least that's what it looked like from the outside. But there was another side to Dequarius Green, one that only surfaced behind closed doors. In 2022, he was arrested 3 times, misdemeanor counts of 3rd-degree domestic violence and harassment. The victim was a woman he shared children with. She told police he put his hands on her, that the arguments turned physical, but when it came time to testify in court, she didn't show up. Without her testimony, the cases collapsed, dismissed, and Dequarius walked away without a conviction. Then 2024 came, same cycle, more arrests, more allegations, more dismissals, and by 2025, one of the women filed a protection from abuse petition. In the documents, she described a man consumed by jealousy, someone who couldn't stand the thought of her talking to anyone else. She said he accused her constantly, that his insecurity turned violent, and then she wrote something that should have stopped everything. She said he hit her while she was pregnant. Even that wasn't enough. The petition was dismissed. Maybe she didn't show up for the hearing. Maybe the pressure from the church, from family, from people telling her to forgive and move on became too much. Whatever the reason, the legal system let her walk back into that home, back into that relationship, back into danger. And this is what makes cases like this so heartbreaking, when the abuser is someone the community respects, someone with a title, a platform, a congregation that loves him. The victim's voice gets drowned out. People don't want to believe it, so they pressure her to stay quiet, to pray about it, to give him another chance. And every time she does, the violence gets closer to becoming lethal. By December 2025, Daquarius Green had been given chance after chance. The system had failed, the church had failed, and the woman who would eventually pull that trigger, she had run out of options. Do you think churches protect abusers more than they protect victims? Have you seen it happen, maybe in your own community? Tell me your truth in the comments, because I want to hear from people who've lived this. And if you're still not subscribed, I'm genuinely curious. What's stopping you? Go to the comments and tell me. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe there's a reason. Either way, I'm reading every response.
Tonight, communities across our area are mourning the loss of Pastor Daquarius Green. Though the shooting happened in Level Plains, Green was widely known in Montgomery for his ministry and outreach. WSFA 12 News reporter Jessica Knox spoke with a friend remembering the man he knew.
I was very hurt. Of course, I was devastated, because I was like, I couldn't believe this happened to him. And of course, then to find out how it happened and who did it, that was even more devastating.
Minister Devontae Palmer is one of many now grieving the loss of Pastor Daquarius Green. Palmer says the two were not close friends, but their paths crossed often at church and even checking up with him at Green's previous job at Walmart.
So from time to time, after I get done with there, I just go to see him and just chat it up, and then for like 5-10 minutes and go by my way, because he working. I can't talk all day.
Palmer says those conversations were brief but meaningful. To Palmer, Green was known for humility and faith.
To me, the man was a humble man, an honest man. He was a man who deeply loved God, his family, and one who just wanted to do the right thing.
One moment stands out the most.
Got me when he came to the church. You know, I had no idea he was coming. He actually surprised me. He tapped on my shoulder and said, "Brother Palmer," oh snap. I had no idea he was coming that day.
Green died just days after being shot in what police called a domestic incident. Those who knew him say they remember a man committed to faith, family, and service.
Again, you know, that wasn't the guy that I knew. You know what I'm saying? Again, like I was telling somebody today, you know, I can only go for what I knew. Pastor Green, he was human, right? He was a man of God. He was a father. He was a husband, hard worker. He did not deserve to die.
December 23rd, 2025, 2 days before Christmas, inside a home on Beaver Run Circle in Level Plains, Alabama, a 911 call came in, a domestic dispute in progress. Deputies from the Dale County Sheriff's Office and officers from the Level Plains Police Department rushed to the scene, and when they arrived, they found Daquarius Green bleeding out. Critical gunshot wounds. Paramedics stabilized him and airlifted him to a regional hospital. For the next 4 days, he fought for his life while his church prayed and his family begged for a miracle. But here's the part that changes everything. The woman who fired that gun has never been publicly identified, and as of early 2026, she hasn't been charged, no arrest, no mugshot, nothing. And that's not because authorities are ignoring it, it's because under Alabama's Stand Your Ground law, you can use lethal force if you reasonably believe your life is in immediate danger. So the question investigators are trying to answer is this: was she defending herself, or did she cross a line? Did she pull that trigger out of fear or out of rage? And how do you even tell the difference when the man on the floor has a documented history of violence against women? The Dale County Sheriff's Office is reviewing everything. The 911 call transcript. Was she screaming or was she calm? Forensic ballistics? Where was she standing when the gun went off? Where was he? Who moved first? They're combing through Green's prior arrests, the dismissed charges, the protection order, because all of that context matters when deciding if someone feared for their life. All of this evidence is going to be handed over to a grand jury, a panel of everyday citizens who will decide whether this woman should face charges or whether she was justified. But while the investigation moves forward, the church kept praying, social media posts asking for prayers, people calling Dequarius a good man, a humble servant, and nowhere in those tributes was there any mention of the arrests, the allegations, the women who said he hurt them. On December 27th, 4 days after the shooting, Dequarius Green died. His death turned the case from an assault into a potential homicide, and the woman who pulled the trigger is still out there, waiting to see if a grand jury believes her, waiting to see if the system that failed her all those years will finally recognize that she had no other choice. If you were on that grand jury, if you had to look at the evidence, the history, the violence, would you indict her or do you think she was defending her life? Comment below and be real with me. And if this story is keeping you here, if you need to know how this ends, hit that like button and share this video. Someone in your life needs to see this. Someone needs to know they're not alone. After Dequarius Green died on December 27th, the community split in two. On one side, you had Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church, his congregation, his fraternity brothers, people who knew him as a man of God. They framed his death as a homegoing, a spiritual transition. On December 28th, they held a prayer vigil. Tributes poured in. People called him a shepherd, someone who deserved to rest in peace. Then on January 10th, 2026, his funeral was held in Montgomery. His fraternity showed up. Red shrouds, spiritual rituals, the kind of ceremony that honors a leader. And during the service, speakers told the crowd to ignore the noise online, to focus on his legacy, not the allegations. But on the other side, social media exploded. People were asking, why are we celebrating a man with 3 domestic violence arrests? Why are we pretending those charges don't matter just because they were dismissed? Advocacy groups started using his case as a talking point, highlighting how churches often fail to protect victims. One comment on the church's Facebook page said the church is not equipped to handle this, and that's exactly the problem. Meanwhile, the investigation continued. The Dale County Sheriff's Office stayed quiet, building a case to present to the grand jury. And while we wait for that answer, I want to give you the 2 life-changing tips I promised. Tip number 1, recognize the pattern early. Domestic violence doesn't start with a punch. It starts with control. Watch for these signs: extreme jealousy, accusing you of cheating with no reason, isolation, cutting you off from friends and family, explosive anger over small things, homey apologies followed by the same behavior. If someone hits you once and says, "I'm sorry," that's not love. That's the beginning of a cycle, and it only gets worse. Tip number 2, have an escape plan, always. If you're in danger, don't wait for the right time to leave. There is no right time. Keep a go bag hidden, clothes, cash, IDs, medications. Memorize the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Tell one trusted person your plan, someone who will help you when you're ready, and when you leave, don't go back. Statistically, the most dangerous time in an abusive relationship is when the victim tries to leave. That's when the violence escalates. That's when it turns lethal.
And family friends continue to mourn the loss of Montgomery native and pastor Dequarius Green, who died last month. Today, many green balloons soared in the air in honor of the man friends call Slim or Just Green. Green's mother, alongside several friends and church members, say they remember Green as someone who was respectful, kind, and always dressed nice. Friends said love was something Green gave to everyone.
He was very loving because that's what his touch was. He was a loving person. He's just Green. I mean, he was loving, caring, kind. Whatever you do, Green gonna show you love. No matter what you did, Green was gonna show love.
He used to give me hugs every time we go to church. He always had your back, and he was just caring.
Dequarius Green's story ended with a gunshot, but it didn't have to. If the system had worked, if the church had intervened, if someone had believed those women the first time they spoke up, maybe he'd still be alive. Maybe they'd be safe. Have you ever stayed silent when you saw abuse happening? What stopped you from speaking up? Let's talk about it in the comments, because silence protects abusers. And if you think abusers should be held accountable, if you think silence protects evil, then subscribe. Let's build a community that doesn't look away. As of early 2026, the grand jury still hasn't made a decision. The woman's identity is still protected. The church is still defending Green's legacy, and that's the thing about cases like this. Justice doesn't always feel like justice. Sometimes it just feels like silence. Daquarius Green left behind children, a daughter named Adeline, a family forever fractured, and somewhere a woman is living with the fact that she killed a pastor. Whether she was right or wrong, that weight doesn't go away. So here's what I keep thinking. We put pastors on pedestals. We call them men of God. We forgive them when they fall. But what about the women who fall because of them? When do they get grace? Daquarius Green was a pastor. He was also a man with a history of violence. Both things can be true, and maybe that's the hardest part, accepting that people are complicated, that evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a man in a pulpit. To the family of Daquarius Green, especially his daughter Adeline, I'm sorry for your loss. I hope you find peace. If this story hit you, if it made you think, if it scared you or angered you, leave a comment. Tell me what you're feeling. Was justice served, or is this just another story where the system failed everyone involved? Drop your take below. I'm reading all of them. And if you believe that no one, not a pastor, not anyone, should get away with violence, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell, because stories like this need to be told. And you need to be here when we tell the next one. If you're against abuse, you're with us. If you're still not subscribed, well, I guess we know where you stand. To everyone who made it to the end, thank you for watching, for your attention, and for joining us on this journey of reflection. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay safe. See you on our next video.